Okay, family. Peace, peace, everybody. I wanted to make a video about readings because I feel that a lot of people are afraid of it. And I get that. I totally understand it because I used to be afraid too because I didn't know what it was. And I always was taught it was from the devil. And I made a post somewhere saying on somebody's message, we give way too much credit for the devil. It is not from the devil. And unless I guess you channel the devil and you get your information from the devil, but no. Um, I offer it as spiritual therapy. I remember when I went to the last time I went to the therapist was, it had to be 3 or 4 years ago. And I remember him saying to me, I'm going to be the last therapist you ever need. And I was like, really? It was this African guy. Man, I forgot his name. He's actually in one of my songs saying something in French for me. Man, I can't think of his name. Oops. But anyway, and I was like, okay. But he said that because he felt like I already had it all in me. I have what I need. And I just needed, like, it's like I had all the ingredients and just needed the recipe. And he was like, I'm going to give you the recipe. I still didn't get it, but now I get it. So, I remember, I don't even know how I even got into readings. I don't know. I guess just on my journey, I started learning a lot of things and esoteric knowledge, metaphysics, things like that. And the more things I heard and that was explained to me, I was like, oh, oh, oh. And then it connected to readings. And it made it seem like it's not so bad. And I think maybe somebody talked about one or whatever. And so I started kind of, listening a little bit, reading up on things. And then I got a deck of playing cards and, cartomancy. I was learning about that. And it made me think because it was like people who play playing cards. Those were like the original tarot cards. And so people play with them all the time and have no clue. And I was like, So I, studied that, researched that. And I try to do a little layout, you know, and ask myself some questions and just learn about intuition. And then I started like watching all kinds of videos. How do you shuffle? How do you this? How do you that? What kind of layout is it? So I learned like so much. And then eventually I got to where, I was able to connect with my own higher self, my own intuition, and do my own layouts and just my own thing. Because you're supposed to personalize it and make it your own. It's your connection that you have. And so I was in school to be a therapist, you know. And so it's really just like you don't have to go to school for that to get their way to do it. You do it this way, because the stuff that you learn in school, they got from all the information from back in the day, back in Egypt and before. They got that information. They call it the European mysticism, whatever. But it's based on that. Carl Jung and all them, they was reading the Nag Hammadi. They was reading all these different books and tapping into stuff. Then created this system, this schooling to teach you how to be a therapist when you could just do it yourself. Just tap in yourself. And of course, melanin plays a big difference in that, you know, along with what you read and just getting the power. So I'm like, let me just like talk about it a little bit. And when I started doing it, doing my own readings, I started doing my own because I'm like, I can't lie to myself. I was like, I might go to a reader and they'll be like, so how you doing today? And I'll be like, fine. And that's a lie. What do you think about this? I could tell them anything. Or I probably would be trying to challenge them or something. So I was like, let me just do my own because I'm not going to lie to myself. And even if I tried to lie to myself, I can't. And why would I? I don't want to. So when I started doing the readings, and I was reading the information connected to the cards because, all the cards come with little books and stuff. So you get to learn oracle cards, tarot cards, whatever. And even the playing cards, the cartomancy, the numbers, they're just with like the ace of spades, the ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, and the jack, king, queen. All those things mean something. So it's like once I started doing my own and buying, getting different decks and reading all the different cards and what they say in the books, I was like, this is therapy. It is not deviltry at all. I was like trying to keep people away from this is the deviltry, because you can learn so much about yourself, your surroundings, your viewpoint, how you think. It really connects you with what you're doing every day and what you're not doing and what you're supposed to do and what's going to be good for you. And so I thought, well, let me just like share and show some stuff. So I changed my little area around a lot, but for right now, this is my area in my closet. I got this huge closet, and I thought, hey, this is going to be my new spot. So this is where, for now, I sit and do my stuff for myself. And for others too, And it's just my little spot. I have my water, and I got my little plants, and I have my feathers, and my incense, and my box for incense. And I have like tons of crystals, and I have my candles and, all that. And just, people looking at this is like, oh, what does all that mean? It's just about having the elements of nature around you, earth, wind, fire, water, having all the elements around you to help create an environment of peace, so you can really focus on what you're doing, And I have lots of different decks of cards. And I have this little book that I write like a lot of my things in, so that if I ever, this is what I see. So if I ever had to leave the house for some reason, the only thing I'm taking is this book. If I had to grab something real quick, because this is so much good information pertaining to me. And it's funny, when the fire happened down the street and I was sitting in the emergency room because I was, from the smoke inhalation and throwing up and stuff, I looked over on the table and I had this, and I had my wand in my purse, but I totally had this. But there's cards that teach you about different things, different types of decks for different types of things. And I think I lean more towards oracle cards, because I like to discuss things on your feelings. And I always have people to, take some deep breaths and get in a meditative mode and tell me where they feel they are and where they want to go, where they feel like they want to be or should be. And then I go from there. And most of the times, people already have the answers and know what they want and what they need. But just don't say it, won't say it, afraid to say it, need some validation, need to hear from somebody else, So while we're talking, we're talking about what's going on with you. And, people start to open up more and more and more. And I can pick up on like a lot of things. I don't need any cards to like read somebody. It's like it's instant. As soon as I see people, I'm like, I can tell you like 10 things about a person. And that's just naturally me. That's just how I am. I'm just very observant. I pay attention to details, myself and everybody else. And it's not to critique. It's just automatic. Like, boom, I see 10 things at once. They got on green. They got their hair like this. They got their makeup like this. Their eyes say this. And they're shifting their body. And then they got their head to the side. And they mean, so it's like, oh, okay. So when you already are like that, this helps. Whether you go to school to be a therapist or not, when you are attentive and you are tuned into other people's emotions, including your own, then this is what you do. So, like, okay, so for example, this is one of my favorite decks. Lord Ganesha. It's called Whispers of Lord Ganesha. I love Ganesha. And like, this card talks about insight, and this card talks about revelations. So to give you an example, each one comes with like a book, and it tells you what each card is talking about. So let's just say, let me see, how was it? This one was my top, my flip over card. Revelation, which is number, what's that say? Oh, God. Put on my glasses. Look, I gotta pick it up. Yeah, number 15. I knew that. Shit. Okay, so anyway, so number 15. So number 15. It says, Revelation. Get ready for key change in your external and internal worlds. You have come to the end of a cycle, and it's time for you to create something new. Through this card, Ganesha is indicating that it is time to break down some of the structures that you have created in your world. This has the potential to feel painful and challenging if you resist the process. This revelation coming to you may relate to your ego and your illusion of separateness from others. You will develop a new perspective on things, and your revelation will help you to grow stronger, wiser, and more composed. You might encounter some challenges along the way, but these are necessary for your spiritual growth and enlightenment. Honesty will bring about a positive change, even if you experience some pain and anxiety throughout the process. When you begin to reach for your goal, you will come to realize that your true security and strength lie within yourself and your relationship with the universe, and not in some false belief system or artificially created world. Be willing to reveal your truth to those around you. So yeah, not DoubleTree. That is encouragement. That is to help you to understand where you are in life. And we all go through things at different times. So if you feel like something is about to change and you're afraid, you're not sure, and you get a card like this, it helps you to work through it. It helps you to realize, yes, you're right. You are in for a change. Something is about to happen. And so you have to look within, see where you are, and look outside and see what's going on. And yeah, it might be challenging, but it's necessary. You're trying to grow, you're trying to be enlightened, well, things have to change. Things that are not serving you anymore have to drop away. Whether you like it or not, it really depends on how bad you want the change and how much you want to challenge yourself so that at the end of the day, things are positive, right? Right. So that's an example, right, of what happens in my type of readings. So the second card from Ganesha is number 26, which is Insight. I look like my mama. What? 26, which is Insight. This card here. Right? So it says, your inner compass knows the key to your true happiness. Ganesha is focusing attention to your third eye chakra. He is acknowledging that you are in a phase where you can grow and expand your consciousness. Intuition is the voice of the spirit and soul. It can be heard when you are in a state of calm. You have the ability to tune into a strong, clear connection. The guidance you receive from the divine can always be trusted. The intuitive insights you receive speak to you about things that directly affect your life, relationships, and personal process. You may find that your intuition grows and becomes clearer the more you tune in and follow it. The more you clear the third eye chakra energy space and practice it using your intuition, the more clearly you will see in every way. Indigo blue is the color for the third eye chakra. When the third eye chakra is in balance, you are self-realized. You will find that you live in harmony with your expanded true self and with people who you interact with in your life. This does not mean that you will never have problems, but rather you'll look at them with a different perspective. You may find that you are charismatic, empathic, and highly intuitive. You are intelligent with a good imagination and accurate perceptions. Not DoubleTree. Encouragement. And it goes right along with the other card. Insight leads to revelation. Revelation leads to insights. So as a result, not only are you, like I said before, you're seeing what's going on inside, you're seeing how to connect it with everybody outside. And so then these other decks that I use, like this one right here, this one is the White Sage Tarot. And this one, deals more with like the numbers and cups and wands and swords. But all of these cards tie directly into these two. It's amazing. They tie directly into these two. Having a new start, a new beginning. You need to relax. Accept what's coming to you. The things you've been asking to change is gonna happen. The death card. People get scared about the death card, but the death card means it's just like the cycle of life. In the fall and winter, everything dies, and then in the spring, everything comes back anew. So you can't say, "Oh, I want my whole life to change to something new," while you still holding on to the old. It doesn't make sense. You can't get a new hairstyle while trying to keep the old hairstyle. Like it don't work like that. And it's funny how we will see changes in nature happen like that and accept it, and it's okay. If stuff didn't stay in that cycle, we would think something is wrong. What is wrong with nature? The flowers are not regrowing. We're not getting the new harvest. But then when it's like that with us, we don't get it. We don't accept it. We're supposed to go through a death cycle of what doesn't serve you out so that you can leave room for what's coming in. And it just makes sense. So a lot of this is intuition based. And when a person like me or other people who are, into like different types of cards and things like that, we've read them enough. I've read all the stuff in the books so many times on myself. So a lot of times I don't even have to like pick it up to like reread what it says. When it comes out, I'm like, oh, I know what that means. I know what these means. I know what that means, because I've read it enough and I retain it and I get it. I'm just that kind of person. So when you go to like a regular therapist and they'll tell you the same stuff that I just told you, people will accept that. And they'll pay like $125 an hour, $200 an hour, for something like that they got from stuff like this that came from Egypt from back in the day. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But it is kind of funny though, because people will demonize therapy. I remember when I first started going to therapy, like, shoot, I took my own self. I had to be like, was I 21 or something like that? One of my friends, she was always talking about therapy. Ooh, girl, my therapist said this. And I said, and she was telling her therapist everything, all her problems. And I was like, you tell them all your problems like that and they don't think you crazy? She was like, no, they don't. I was like, ooh, I'm going. I was like, because I am going through too much. From suffering abuse, from religious stuff and just crazy, all kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't have nobody to talk to. Nobody is listening to me. So I went to the therapist, and the therapist was like, listen to everything I said, and then was giving me like the right answers, saying the right stuff that I needed to hear. And I thought, I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew I was mad for a reason. I knew I was hurt for a reason. I knew I was eating too much for a reason, eating my feelings away. I knew all this, but it's like, you don't know what to do. How do you handle this stuff? How do you handle this shit, And a lot of times families won't talk about problems like that. They will not talk about that. And if they see you going to therapy, they're like, uh-oh. And it's a reflection back on them a lot of times of what they're not doing. And maybe what they need to handle, or maybe what they even needed to save you from if they would have worked it out in the first place. So I had no shame in the game. I was like, I don't care. I don't care if everybody talk about me or don't like me or whatever. I'm going to help myself. I'm going to help myself. And that's what I did. And I do that. Fast forward to this day. I still help myself. And this is a whole nother way to do it. It's amazing. And because I stopped going to school to be a therapist, their way, and I'm doing it this way, somebody could call me up on the line and ask me a question, and I'm going to give them this answer versus that answer. No matter what, I'm going to give you the same kind of encouragement, the same type of answer. So it's like we have to get out of being afraid of something that we don't even understand or know about. And on TV, they demonize and make the stuff crazy. Why is always the reader some crazy looking kooky person looking like hell and damnation and then some? And they always like, boo-hoo-ha, so scary. Crazy shit. It's like, oh my gosh, it makes me mad. Because now when I see it, I was watching some show. I don't know what it was. And the black lady downstairs was the reader. and she was just crazy as hell. And then she turned out to be a demon. It was like nuts. I was just like, ay, ay, ay. So then, when you're introduced to this, you're like skeptical and you're like, nah, I ain't doing that shit. Nope. And it's like, oh my gosh. So, no, we have to get out of being afraid of it. Learn what it is. Know who you're talking to. That's a big key. If somebody wants to talk to you about these kind of things or listen to your problems, what the deal is. You know, you know, you know. So anyway, I'm going to give a couple more examples. And I'm doing this to show what I got from that deck, then what I got from the White Sage deck, what I got from the Ganesha deck, and then I have two from my New Orleans Voodoo Tarot deck. I got this Oya and this I say Gueda. It may be Gaeta. I don't really know how to pronounce it exactly, but both of these were on point. Both of these were on point about starting anew. And how I won't get into it because it takes some time to explain them. But the point is they both tied in along with this brand new things, this brand new things, this brand new things. And then this one's my favorite deck, my Kali Ma deck. My gosh, whenever I read anything from this deck, I try to do one card a week, because I know that they are for me, because it's my spiritual mama, Uh, yeah. So anyway, it's deep. And it really deals a little bit more with when you are speaking on a situation, all the things that you have on the inside of your head that you're not speaking, that you're not saying. It's like these cards, like they go that deep, and it's like, wow, how could this be written like this to really help me with my inner issues? That's divine. That's the divine help that we need, that is sent from, let's just say, above to us. And a lot of us are just like rejecting it, saying no, 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 because of our old religious beliefs and backings, or same religious beliefs and backings. And if that stuff ain't like did you right by now, you gotta look at something different. So I'm gonna read about this card. Is it 36? Blind self. What's this one? Yeah, 36. 36, Arthur of Kali. So I like the Kali cards because they show different aspects of her. And I was just talking to a sister on the phone about this. I can understand that because I have different aspects of myself. My name is Latrice. Yes, that's my government name. But I have a lot of aspects. I have a lot of nicknames. I have Treese. I have T. I have Mama T. I have Miss T. I have Treese Babe. I have a lot of them. And I am all those people. And it's funny because all of those different aspects of me is really different. The people that call me Miss T, it's kids. Little kids. And I'm a different way with them. The people that call me Mama T, I'm a different way with them. The people that started calling me T, it's like I'm a different way with them. Trees Babe was like a whole high school nickname. That was a different person too. But I'm still all those, and I still get called all those too. And I do act different, I guess, with those. Not like funny acting, but it's different. So it's the same. There's different aspects of different divine beings. And Kali Ma has a lot of them. And she's Kali Ma in one, I'm not even going to say mythology, in one time. In one timing. You go across the board, she's another one. Hathor, you go across the board, she's another one. From Egyptian to Greek to Roman to whoever all made their own. Or, I won't even spin it negatively. Everybody explains it in their own way. But you always have to know where the source is and where it comes from. So, the aspect of my divine parent that I relate to the most is Kali Ma. totally Kali Ma. It is not a lie. And I embrace it more and more every day. I love it because I don't play. But I love people, but I don't play. You know, I'm like a straight warrior. And I like that. So, anyway, one of the aspects of Kali is Artha of Kali. Right here. Look at that. Yeah, that's powerful, right? So, this is what it is. Artha of Kali. Her heart contains the seed of your soul and complete awareness of the divine destiny she has always intended for you. There is a sacred purpose for which you were born and a meaningful, divinely protected pathway for you to fulfill it. Only you can decide to put your faith and commitment into the path and to take one step at a time in honoring what has value to your heart, turning into her loving plan for you. In taking those steps, the pathway will reveal itself and you shall attract great blessings that will benefit all beings. And I like it because a lot of times it talks about how to help yourself and then in turn help all beings. And that's the point. Because I came here with a double mission. And my double mission is to help myself, to help my family line, to help my ancestral family line, to help my line, my lineage that's actually came from me, from my belly, you know, my child and my grandchildren and on down my line, but also reverse back up from my two parents and back on, you know, through the bloodlines, which is why I'm now heavy into burning ancestor money every day because I get it now. I get what that means. So also part of my journey is, you know, in helping me is to deal with trauma, deal with past family trauma, you know, like in this time, previous lifetimes, across the board now, and just previous, you know, because our families be having some shit to heal, and we won't, and we have generational curses. A lot of times it's because we put them on ourselves too, you know, by saying stuff that we shouldn't be saying, shouldn't come out of our mouths. So that's my first mission, you know, is to myself and my family line and healing. And then my second mission, the double part, the second part is me helping others. And the way I help others is by sharing it, telling it, talking about it like I'm doing right now. Because I don't know who all needs to hear things or who needs help, but I tell you what, I learned so much from different people's videos. So much. And if they hadn't made those videos, I would not be this far. In 3 years, I have binged like so many people. Oh my gosh. Like a crackhead. I was binging. It is not a lie. And then I would have to sleep for like days because my mind would be blown. But it's what I needed. It's what I needed to get through this. And we're all here on missions like that to help ourselves and then to share and help others. That's why so many channels and so many teachers and stuff like that. You know, real ones, for real. And some, you know, you can even learn stuff from the fake ones. You know, you just got to know the difference. You just got to take it all in and, you know, weed out the good from the bad and, you know, use your mind, you know. So there's a lot more, you know, to that card and to these pages. It's like 2 or 3 more pages. Plus it has like a prayer that you can do, like a meditation that you can do. And all these things are to help you. So there is no deviltry. These things are to help you in a positive way, you know. So I guess that's really all I'm going to say about it. You know, I could go on and on about it. But the point is, you know, I feel like as a people and as a whole, we have to stop fearing things we don't know about. And we can't just listen to whatever people tell us is good or bad. We have to like research it and experience for ourselves. And that's very important because I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. And the rule there was you don't research nothing outside of what they're telling you. Not outside of their books. Not outside of their website once they got it. Not outside of their little CD disc. Not outside of their library. That means that they could have been telling me anything. And I'm supposed to go 100 to that. Something ain't right about that. something is not right about that. Because if God made you who you are and said he loves you and you're his reflection and all that kind of stuff, you can't at the same time say he a mystery and you can't learn everything about him and there's just a lot you just gonna know. Leave it up to God. That don't make no sense, because God, if God is omnipotent and all knowing and all seeing, all these wonderful things, universal and on and on and on, cosmic, then why limit him and put him in a box and be like, wait a minute, you made me like this amazing being and I can't know about you? I can't know about myself? Something ain't right. So you have to question everything. You have to research. And when you do, it leads you to different ways of doing things. And for people who are like, oh my God, Tristan got into the devil, I'm like, Negro, did I look like I would get into some devil stuff before this? No. So evidently, if I'm doing it and I'm a part of it this heavy and I'm speaking out about it with no shame, then it must not be the devil. Hello. So don't be afraid to like look, because most people are afraid to look because they might see something wrong in what they were thinking or believing. So what? I'm like this. If I'm thinking wrong and I'm talking wrong and I'm believing wrong, somebody tell me, somebody show me and help me. A lot of people will sit back and let you just drown. You could be like on the wrong everything. You could be doing wrong stuff. Some of the people who you consider as your friends, they will watch you drown. They will watch you drown. So it's like, I don't want to hear it. If I'm on the wrong path, somebody tell me. And if somebody ain't gonna tell me, I'm glad that my higher self loves me and my higher self told me. And my spiritual parents were protecting me the whole time I was in crazy religion for 30 years, believing weird shit, and doing weird shit, and doing a whole lot of stuff I didn't agree with, and talking to and liking a whole lot of people I didn't want to talk to and didn't like, especially pedophiles. A lot of religions are full of pedophiles. And in Jehovah's Witness religion, I had to sit right next to them and be like, oh gosh, no, no, no. So anyway, I got out my little box for a second. But my mama calling mine. So yeah, so I hope that this will help anyone who watches it and who wants to talk and wants to get some help and wants to get some things off their chest, because it's all for our highest good. It's all for the best. So peace, family. Not this, but this.